And we are live for real. Welcome back to Dice and Drinks. My name is Matt. If you haven't been here before, I am the GM for a Stars Without Number campaign that I'm running for some friends, and we are streaming on the YouTubes. And tonight we're going to do a little world building for that campaign. We're going to look at some alien races tonight. Should be a good time breaking out the Metamorphica to do some rolling on some random tables. And before we get into that, we got to talk drinks. Tonight we are going with Glenfiddich 15. This is a Hilaire cask. So basically, everything in the cask is at least 15 years old. The cask has been at least half full since I believe it's 1998. So there's some older stuff in there. It's a little interesting. It's a good scotch. We're gonna drink some of it. What we're really here for tonight is some world building. So let's go ahead and break out Legend Keeper here and get things going. Okay, so we are back in the faction table here. We're going to be focused on some aliens tonight. We have 3 main alien races. Most of those are probably going to be some form of coalition between multiple aliens. But the ones that we really care about are the Vracine, the Bota, and the Zikun. The Zikun actually made a small appearance in a one-shot that we ran the other day. We were getting the players up to speed on some of the mechanics. That video is on the channel. But they took a little trip out to the Cheetah system where there was a little bit of a skirmish between KSG, Coker, Stodinger, and Gebhardt. That's the one of the main megacorps of the sector. And the Zikun aliens. Basically, the Zikun are worried that they were being encroached on by KSG. But that was all kind of backdrop. Didn't really make a big appearance in the episode, but there was a slight mention of it, so I thought I'd throw that out there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So let's start with the Vracine, actually. This is going to basically follow the same thing that we've been doing for all these factions in our world building videos. We'll go through, we'll answer a bunch of these prompt questions. There'll be a little bit extra here just because of the whole alien physiology part of this. But yeah, let's do it. So the Vracine, they are the main opposition to the Commonwealth. In the sector. So basically the way I'm laying out the aliens, the reason there's 3 of them is we're going to have one that is a big time opposition to the Commonwealth, humanity in general. We're going to have one that is relatively friendly to the Commonwealth, and then we have the one that's kind of stuck in the middle between the Vracine and the Commonwealth. But their main opposition to the Commonwealth in the sector, similar power level, and footprint. We have a huge sector map, and a lot of one corner of it is going to be dedicated to Vracine. So yeah, so we have plenty of room to play around with there, and they're basically pretty large power. So similar power level and footprint. Let's say, well, we can get into it a little bit further once we go down here, but what are they about? So they are warrior caste. They value strength above all. And are very, I want to say they're probably kind of broken up into clans, maybe. I don't know what the word for that is, but form clans. They reside in the northwest of the sector. Obviously, northwest doesn't make a whole lot of sense in a sector map, but since we represent everything on a two-dimensional map, it works. I perceived. General public is mostly scared of them. Due to how the media kind of propagandizes some of the things that they do. They're not nice. I mean, I'm not trying to pull one of those over or anything, but they obviously probably do raids on systems that are close to their territory. So the media really fires them up as bloodthirsty barbarians type deal. What makes them special? I'm gonna come back to that. There might be something there, but so they exist. They basically okay, what makes them special? All have some psychic ability. All right, I like that. So they all have some psychic ability. They may not be full-blown psychics, but at least all of them have the ability to do something with psychic power. Very strong technology before the scream. Seem to be less affected by the scream. Given the fact that they're all psychics, you would think they would have been more affected by the scream, but they seem to have skated by somehow. I mean, this is basically going to be main opposition to the Commonwealth, but getting into the culture a little bit. So I think very family oriented. It's kind of clan above all. We already talked about. I'm putting this again just because I've kind of used this question on some of the other factions to been like, okay, this is where they reside, but they're actually found all throughout the sector. But these guys basically stick to their territory. What are the members like? Battle unites them. Have been fighting in the sector for a long time. Have defeated and subjugated. Subjugated other races. Reputation. Slavers. Raiders. Violent. Yeah, so the slaver thing kind of just fell in there. I actually kind of like it though. So basically, whereas the Commonwealth kind of subsumes cultures, but tries to stay more or less on the up and up about it. They put forward this front of, yeah, we're doing it for the greater good of everyone in the sector. These guys go in, if you don't want to be part of their game, they're just gonna take out your leaders, make your women and children slaves, and take over your planet. Okay, we're going to get into recognizable features. We're going to roll all this up on the Metamorphica tables. We may budget a little bit for these guys just because they're so much of a main antagonist to the Commonwealth. But we'll see what happens with that. Infrastructure, TL4 plus. Close to say a lot of pre-tech research. Rank and social structure. All right, made up of clans. That are very familial. Some are patriarchs. Some are matriarchs. That is a point of contention. Labor, material exploitation. All right, how does the organization relate to other organizations or cultural powers? Basically Cold War with the Commonwealth that has been heating up in the past decades. Say decade. So make it more recent. I think it probably makes sense that the Commonwealth's been expanding pretty quickly lately, and I think they've probably been starting to butt up against their territory. And now that there's somebody close to their territory with similar technology level, they feel threatened, they push back. So a lot of border skirmishes, that type of stuff, but no major like military incursions or anything. All right. Ranks. So we got like the chieftain of the whole people. Let's see, what should they? Might come back and mess with these names a little bit, but I'm thinking here this is going to be a this isn't going to stick. I'm going to change this, but Supreme Leader, basically. Then we have the Clan Chiefs. The Elite Warriors. And then all other warriors. Clan chiefs of the 13 clans, because 13 is just a good number for that type of stuff. All right, quirks of the organization. Divided over between patriarch and matriarch clans. So you got some of the people that are all about the women having the power, and some of the people that are all about the males having the power. And it's kind of a point of contention within the race right now. Symbol of the organization. We'll come back to that after we roll some Metamorphica stuff. Yeah, some of the stuff doesn't exactly make sense for Alien Faction, just because player characters more than likely aren't going to be joining. But let's go ahead and talk some of... Oh, you guys can't even see that. All right, hold up. Let me do a little fixing here. All right, sorry about that. Okay. I think that should work. All right, let's flip over to the Metamorphica, actually. So this is actually something I picked up when I believe it was the Far Verona world building was happening with Adam Coble. But basically the Metamorphica, there's a ton of stuff in here. I haven't made it through a ton of it. I basically got it for this main section here. But there's all kinds of things for uplifted animals, special plant only mutations, but basically it's a giant book of mutations that you can roll on. But the ones I'm going to care about are some Xenobiology. All right, so we have basic composition, consumption, natural habitat, procreation, reproductive strategy, reproduction method. So this is going to give us kind of the physical characteristics of our race here. And I just talked about all that, and you couldn't see any of it. Forgot to flip the scene. All right, anyways. But basically we just have these tables here. Everything rolls on a D6 table or a D8 table, it looks like. And basically we'll figure out what they look like, where they live, what they eat, and how they reproduce. All right, back to Legend Keeper. Let's go ahead and put some of that stuff in. So we have basic composition. Consumption. I don't know why I've been putting heading 2s, but natural habitat. Procreation. And reproductive strategy. Let's fix some of these. All these heading 4s. Boom. All right. Let's roll it up. I have some dice somewhere left. Here we go. Got a bunch of D6s here. All right, 1d6. Basic composition. What are they made of? We got a 1. Carbon-based, but not Earth-like. What we got here? Roll them again. What do they eat? 3. Gaseous material only. I'm actually going to overrule this one. There we go. 2. Emotion, memory, or thought. I like that. That actually plays in well with the psychic. The fact that they're all somewhat psychic inclined. All right, natural habitat. I don't have a D8 over here, but let's roll 2d6 and see what happens. That's an 8. Parasites. Not a fan of that one. 6. Hot and wet. Okay, I like that. Water in liquid or vapor form. All right, so I'm thinking maybe jungle planets. Maybe even gas giants. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. All right. Procreation. 5. Sexual with numerous sexes. All right. Okay, so that kind of throws off our matriarch. Not necessarily. Okay. Yeah. So let's say there are 3 sexes. But the male and female are dominant, with the third being subordinate to the other 2. And then it just kind of depends on which group you fall in, whether the male is more dominant or whether the female is more dominant. Okay. Last one. Nope, I lied. Not the last one. We have 2 more. All right, reproductive strategy. 6. Reproduces once with many young. Okay. What's the other one we have? Method. Reproduction method. All right. Do it. That's a 2. Eggs. Or similar. Sealed incubator. May actually be like soft egg sacs. I kind of like that. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. Okay, so we have carbon-based, but not Earth-like. They feed on emotion, memory, or thought. They live in hot and wet places, jungle planets, maybe even gas giants. procreation, they are sexual with numerous sexes. Reproductive strategy, reproduce once with many young. And eggs of a seal. Okay. So this actually. All right, let's just some notes here. All right, so reptilian, winged, sorry, flip you guys back to Legend Keeper while I'm playing with some notes. Just want to look. Yeah, not a whole lot here. Okay. I think we're going to come back to these guys and maybe even roll some more Metamorphicus stuff at some point to flesh some of this out. But initial thoughts, I'm thinking like reptilian, winged, I'm thinking that the reason that there's kind of the butting of heads between the matriarchal and patriarchal societies, is I think that either can procreate with the third yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna come back to all this, but basically, I mean, we have the outline. They're kind of the bad guys of the system. They butt heads with the Commonwealth, and they're pretty strange, feeding on thoughts and emotions and all. Okay, good enough for now. Let's talk the Bota. All right, the Bota are stuck in the middle. Actually, let's still go ahead and roll on the metamorphic for these guys, and then let's figure out what they are. All right. Just go numbered list this time. All right. Roll them up, roll them up, roll them up. What is their composition? I already had that one. 2. Earth-like carbon-based life form. Okay. All right. What do they eat? Light or other energy. Natural habitat. Super. It's 4. They do live in a gas giant. Procreation. Asexual reproduction. Okay, okay. Got some next level mitosis stuff going on here. All right. Strategy 5. Many cannibalistic young. Okay. Yeah. Not spell two N's. Sorry, guys. Trying to get some spelling right, and it's not my strong suit. Okay. That was strategy. Let's go reproduction method. Okay, I guess it was meant to be. They're also eggs or sealed incubator. I rolled that like 3 times, 4 times. All 4 were 1s or 2s. All right. So they're also eggs or sealed incubators. Earth-like carbon-based life form. Feed on light or other energy. Here I'm thinking electricity. Makes sense to fit them in the game, maybe. They hang around gas giants. No, so maybe it's actually gas that they feed off of. Yeah, we'll see. Asexual reproduction. So basically, once they reach a certain level of energy, they split into many smaller young that then all eat each other. Nice. Guys are fun to be around. Okay. They inhabit nearly all of the gas giants in the sector. Are willing to help with mining operations. In exchange for solar arrays to keep them fed. Gas giants, we already talked about that. How are they perceived? I think most people think they're less than. I mean, they're not. I don't think they're nearly on the same technology level as humans or the Versine. So they're kind of peasants almost. Low tech. But what makes them special is they are very territorial and will run out mining unsanctioned mining operations. with sheer numbers. Why they exist, no one really knows. Discovered as people needed fuel, basically. Not really understood. I think it's like a tenuous, yeah, we're kind of friends with them. But really we just bring them big light collectors and they help us get fuel. Yeah, so I think these guys are pretty mysterious. So maybe not so much the whole stuck in the middle thing. But that might evolve as we get into the game, as we start rolling through some faction turns. They probably have motivations, but I just haven't really thought of them yet. Because aliens are kind of harder than I thought they were going to be. Because you kind of go from, okay, let's roll up some characteristics of this race, to, okay, if that was their characteristics, what would be their motivations and how do they fit in? So we may just stick with doing some characteristics, maybe a shorter video tonight. We may actually double back on this one at some point. Probably not really united from system to system. I don't think they have like a giant network that's organizing things, but could be wrong there. We'll see how it goes. Oh, crap. Low tech. Mostly tied to a single gas giant. Alright. I don't know how I feel about this one, but I'm going to leave it there for now. Alright. Let's move on to Z-Coon. We'll go ahead and answer our metamorphic questions for them. And you guys have just been staring at the metamorphic the whole time I've been talking about this. Because I keep getting switched back. But that's okay. Alright. Basic composition. 1d6. Man. Dice. Okay, okay. Liquid or plastic form. Could be fun to play with. Consumption. What do they eat? Simple organic material. So not complex life forms necessarily. Some kind of water creature eating up some plankton or something. Yeah, we'll see. Natural habitat. I guess this helps us figure that out. Oh, this is a 2d6. They are parasitic. Procreation. Genetic parasite. And all the parasitic things in here. Genetic. Alright, reproductive strategy. That is a 4. Cyclical, many offspring. And the old reproduction method. That's a 5. Live young in an external incubator. All right. Interesting. I didn't really realize how far this is gonna stretch my imagination. Like, how do you make a liquid or plastic form alien an actual something you deal with in the sector? It's so easy to get so tied up in the whole any kind of powerful alien creature is going to be some form of humanoid. And I'm just gonna have to kind of reassess what I was thinking for these factions and figure out how do I run an alien that's a liquid or plastic form. But I like it. I mean, it's a good challenge. It's kind of challenges what you normally think of. So the Zikun. Okay, actually, you know, I kind of like this. Okay. So there's some world tags in here about like space fauna and stuff. I think these guys are parasitic, live on the space fauna. So basically just riding around space on some giant space animals. The liquid or plastic form is still a little weird to me. Especially on like however they're going to communicate. But we'll figure something out. I'm trying to think of other things that I've read or seen that have strange back to Legend Keeper here so you guys can see. But I'm trying to think of other things that I've seen or read that have like strange alien races that are still sentient. One of the ones I'm thinking of is like Peter F. Hamilton books. I forget. I think it's the original ones for the big universe. I can't even think what they're called now. But basically, when Ozzy is out on his little vision quest walking the Sylvan Trails, and they have the other creature that they run into that basically is made of like all these tendrils and frills and stuff and uses those to communicate through colors. And there may have been a little bit of, I forget how exactly it works, but that's like one of the strangest examples I can think of. But man, I'm gonna have to do a little research and see if there's some other examples of like sentient life that communicates with humans in some meaningful way that is liquid or plastic form. It's gonna be hard, but I like the challenge. I think it'll make things more interesting this way. So I think I'm really just going to come back to these later. The only other ones that we have left, if we roll back to our factions page here, we still need to talk about Revel at some point. And we still need to talk about the guild. Did we do the guild? No, we did not do the guild. Okay. I think we could probably burn through these. Let's do the guild. They are bounty hunter, mercenary, hired gun, union, basically. If you're a hired gun, you probably get your work from the guild. And if you don't, you probably get pressured by the guild. Getting a cut of all hired gun work. And the rights of those hired guns. In quotes. Where do they reside? They're probably going to have some kind of headquarters in System XXX. But in most large cities and stations, you can find a representative. How are they perceived? So the public knows they need something taken care of. This is the quickest. I was going to say the most efficient, but that's a little dangerous way to put it. This is the quickest way to get it done. But they are expensive. What makes them special? Connections with really good fighters. Fixers. Detectives. Etc. Why they exist? Make sure the hired guns get paid. So, I mean, I was kind of like laughing rights of the hired guns or whatever, but I mean, they do serve a purpose. The idea is that probably at some point in time, people thought they could start stiffing the hired guns and cutting their wages and basically controlling that market. So then you kind of form up the guild. People aren't undercutting each other rates wise, and work kind of flows in a more official manner. So let's say built up after the Commonwealth. Was less than honest about some contracts that it put out. Yeah, so I think that's actually good, that there's probably some form of contention between the guild and the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth was probably hiring out some mercenary work, some bounty hunter work, some detective work, whatever. That they either were stiffing people after the work was done, weren't really representing the jobs the right way, whatever it was, but basically just not operating totally on the up and up. So some guys get together, they form the guild. Can be found. Taverns. Taverns on the outskirts of the sector. Official guild halls on bigger systems. What are the members like? Police people operating outside the guild. Ensure dues are paid. Otherwise, hired guns as normal. Reputation. Yeah, so I think the reputation is if you go to the guild, you can count on the job being done. You may not know who or how the job gets done, but it'll get done. So if somebody fails, the guild is more than likely replacing them with somebody else that is going to get the job done. And that replacement could be clean or could be messy. How are they recognizable? Yeah, some kind of emblem. Come back to that one. Infrastructure. Mostly based on connections. I think they don't really have a ton of infrastructure of their own. I think they probably have good connections in Helix, good connections in Revel Media. So I think they can get a lot of things and they can get a lot of things done. But it's not like they have their own production facilities. Rank and social structure. Top guns are heralded. Heralded. But representatives. Broker all deals. And payments. Probably make more money. Cut of all jobs and dues. Seen as a resource. If even if expensive. Alright, so I think there probably is a guild master. And then there are brokers. Maybe regional masters, brokers, and then just members. Quirks does the organization have? Not really sure. A lot of dirty deals between brokers and members. Symbol organization, where it said we'll come back to that. And how does one join? Referral. From another member or through a broker. As one advance. Notoriety for members. More deals for brokers. So basically, if you have proven yourself as a reliable member, you are going to get that chance to move on up in the ranks. For brokers, it's all about basically being a sales person. If you can start cranking out some sales, you're going to move up. And then probably start representing larger regions, get better postings, all that type of stuff. Advantages for being a member of the organization. So this is, you do get some protection from being shafted. Access to equipment, dealers. You still buy all your own stuff, but they have connections. They can get you hooked up with people that are willing to take your money. And then obviously money for work. Sweet. And that is the bounty hunter organization known as the Guild. All right, let's go one more tonight before we turn in. Let's talk about Revel. All right. This is another big boy. Revel, who are they? Control all communications and media throughout the sector. So there may be one small distinction there. So Revel is like at the sector-wide level. There may be other media outlets that are in system. But any data that goes from one system to another system relies on Revel's network, basically. So there's a little bit of nuance to that, but for the most part, they control all communications and all media throughout the sector if the news is going from one system to another system. What are they about? They're about money. Money and information. I mean, they're Google. Their power comes from the data that they have. If all communications are riding on their network, they have a lot of data. They're very interesting prospects for the Commonwealth, especially like the Notarium, um, and even the criminal organizations like the Accord, Black Specters. Everybody has an interest in what Revel knows. Where they reside, system XXX. I promise we're going to start building out systems. I've started a little bit. We had some stuff built out from the one shot. And in my spare time, I'm going to start cranking some out. It's just not very interesting to watch because it's literally, let's roll this stuff on a generator. Let's throw it in, and it just takes a long time. But once we have a good amount of systems in the sector, we'll start kind of placing where each of these factions has their home planet, where their influences are greatest, all that type of stuff. How are they perceived? It's kind of like modern world right now. Like, they are a convenience and a necessity that we don't want to live without, but it's a little creepy, all of the information that they know. It's like Google and Amazon and all that. Like, it's nice and it's convenient, and I'm not going to say no to it, but at the same time, it's a little creepy how much they know. So special, high tech comms. Why they exist? Serve the news and pass communications. Closest. We'll get this in the next question here. All right, so I think they were originally very closely aligned with the Commonwealth. But that has started to shift more recently. I think that basically when they were coming up, obviously anybody that's like a mega corp or giant faction in the world probably came up around the same time as the Commonwealth and probably were very closely tied together. They each benefited from each other. But I think more recently there's starting to become this kind of divide where the factions are starting to fan out a little bit and they think they can kind of stand on their own. I think that's also happened with Revel here. And I think that they're getting to the point now where they're comfortable telling the Commonwealth no. So when the Notarian comes to them and asks for some bit of information, if they aren't willing to pay Revel's price, Revel's probably getting to the point where they're confident saying, no, we're not going to give that to you. But like I said before, money is kind of their end all be all. They are megacorp to the nines. Everywhere is where they can be found. They have comm satellites and relays in every system in the sector. When you stop and you drop a message, it goes to a Revel relay. Members like corporate, some tech wizards, reputation, people try not to think about it because they enjoy the services so much. Emblem, DVD, infrastructure, very high tech comms. And entertainment, though. Like, it's not. So, like, the comms is one part of it, but then obviously they also have a giant, like, entertainment division. I mean, they do the news for the whole sector, all of the media that's distributed throughout the sector they own. So yeah, so like the technical comms aspect of it is like one part, but then there's also the entertainment aspect, um, which also comes along with the fact that if you're the biggest news organization in the sector, you also know a lot of people and a lot of things. So knowledge is kind of infrastructure in this scenario, but yeah, rank and structure like mega corp vault. Basically, comms cost, entertainment, subs, etc. Relate to organizations' cultural powers. Has the info they need for the right price. Hated by megacorps for the most part. But again, if they have what you need, gotta be friends. All right. Yeah, I mean, we basically have CEO, CTO, COO, division, SVPs. Quirks of the organization. Not sure there yet. Symbol, we set TBD. How does one join? Either get a job or freelance. Advance. Get good info. Or tech advances. Yes, I mean, obviously, an organization that vast, there's a lot of different ways to advance because there's a lot of different jobs. The two main tracks that I see, though, either you're on the We're a Giant News Network side, and we need people with connections. You have connections, you're going to move up because you get the information we need to make a story. Or you're on the tech side, and we need an engineer that can improve the efficiency of our comms tech. So if you can bring up some kind of tech, probably going to move up. Advantages for being in the organization. Access to cool tech and pay is okay. Maybe. I mean, I don't think that they're I don't think you're making a ton of money here. Like if you're a top scientist at Helix, you're definitely gonna make a lot more than if you're a top scientist at Revel. But depending on what you have, if you have something that goes viral information wise, probably can make a lot of money. But I think a lot more of that money rolls back into Revel. These guys at the top, they're doing pretty good. Sweet. That rounds out everybody in the factions list. We still have some work to do on the aliens. I thought that was going to be easier. It was actually really hard, especially trying to go from what I had in my mind before, in terms of basically the idea that one is going to be friendly to humans, one's going to be antagonist to humans, one's going to be somewhere in the middle, to actually rolling on the Metamorphica and figuring out what they are. I'm just going to need to give my head some time to wrap around the fact that you can have a liquid form or plastic form alien species that can somehow communicate with humans and is basically sentient, and can make an impact in the sector. But I think it'll be good once we figure out how that actually is going to work. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess you guys didn't really get to see much from the one shot in terms of what has been put together, but so this is our map for the sector currently. Obviously, there's not a lot in here right now. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 systems in the sector. I'd like to build out roughly 30 systems that are in the immediate Commonwealth. Some number of systems that are in Versine space. And then some other various ones dropped in places. But yeah, I mean, it just takes a while to build out the systems. I was using sectors without number, and that was kind of nice because, I mean, obviously you just randomize everything, it drops everything in, it has all the tags already applied and everything. But just being able to run everything out of Legend Keeper is a lot better for my workflow. So I'm going to take the time to actually put them in Legend Keeper. I've been using Perchance to basically randomly roll up things, which I still can't decide if that's the better way to go or if it's better to handpick them. Both kind of take a lot of time because even when I randomly roll up stuff, I end up going back and hand tweaking it. And the names are not great in my Perchance generator right now. So I still end up going to like fantasy name generator for a lot of stuff. Yeah, but it's slow moving, but hopefully we can get that taken care of. This coming week, we are getting together with the players again. We're going to talk character creation, so that's why I really need to at least build out the vast majority of the Commonwealth systems before this week. So that's Tuesday night. That one won't be live streamed, but we'll probably do the same thing. We'll release a VOD later in the week. And then after that, we'll have another 2 weeks. So basically the players are getting together every 2 weeks. So this time is character creation, lore dump, just getting everybody integrated into where we're at in the world. The one after that, we're either going to do some kind of prologue or another one shot or something with their characters that they create last time, just so we can make sure that everybody's on board with what they created. They like it, they want to play it. And then 2 weeks after that, we will be getting into the real thing. So if we take a look at the calendar, so we have the 8th is character creation. The 22nd is going to be, hey, let's run these characters one time and see what happens. And then March the 8th is looking like potentially the first date where we're actually going to open up Toméa Epsilon and start streaming some Stars Without Number. And I am so pumped for it. It should be an awesome time. We have a good group of players. If you guys didn't get a chance to see the one shot that we ran, you should go check it out. There were a little bit of technical difficulties. We missed a little bit of the recording. I'm not in love with the set design and kind of the look and feel of everything, but there were some funny moments. It's worth it. We're all trying to learn this thing as we go and hit our stride, but we have some comical players that I think once we actually get in this campaign and they have characters that they own, there's going to be a lot of good times. So looking forward to it, and looking forward to showing the world what Toméa Epsilon has to offer. Until next time, I am getting out of here. It's getting late. Everybody got to work tomorrow, so enjoy your night, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.